Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome for the very first time to the World Eater, my lovely little mutated form to the Kobold. So this is honestly one of the most powerful creations I now own. It can actually kill the Bloodthirster without taking all that much damage. I have done a ridiculous amount of work converting the Kobold into what I want, and I am really happy with the end result. Also, a massive thank you to whoever actually created the Kobold in the first place. It is truly a magnificent creation, and it suited everything I wanted almost perfectly. So a lot of the movement is pretty much untouched. I've done a little bit of tweaking to the PID, I've added a few thrusters here and there because of the increased engine power, but mostly it's still the base design, at least in terms of movement. Pretty much everything else has been tweaked quite heavily, so as you can see we still have these lovely rotors on the side which do go backwards in the presence of an enemy, which causes it to constantly face off against the enemy and basically pepper it to all hell. So what have I actually done to change it? Well, ignoring the obvious aesthetic changes, I have completely cut off half of the craft. I literally went with the mirror mode from here and just cut all the way along here and then all the way along down there, although I did end up rebuilding the back section because honestly I just didn't like how I was changing it. So a good 1/3 was just completely removed before I even started working. I have added a laser which is significantly stronger than the one on the Bloodthirster. I have massively increased the power of its anti-missile laser system, the laser anti-missile system. Defense, in fact. I can do the words. As you can tell, it's a little bit late at night because I've been working on this thing all day. Really happy once again. The two main guns are pretty much the same. I made them a little bit larger so they have a slight increase to their ammo capacity so that they can fire for a few more seconds, which I think is really cool. And of course, I have messed around with the engines, so we've increased the power significantly. So hopefully, this thing will be the ultimate glass cannon. It has the ridiculous advanced cannons, it has a ridiculous laser system. I'm almost done now. All I want to do is add some torpedoes so that we don't get countered by subs. And then I think I'm done. I am tempted to add some anti-missile missiles because I just absolutely adore those. Or perhaps what I may do is remove this tiny, adorable advanced cannon from here and instead have an anti-missile cannon, which of course you do by simply adding one of these, the anti-missile cannon controllers. So we have a small advanced cannon over here, perhaps a little bit more armor around it, which can help shoot down missiles. Although honestly, these munition defenses are already ridiculously powerful. A full volley from one of our subs can be completely negated before it even gets close to actually hitting the craft. I did have to sacrifice some shields, however, to reserve some engine power for the lasers, so I think overall it's probably more vulnerable than it used to be, but in certain situations it's slightly more sturdy. And of course, we've been very nice to the old AIs, as we always are. Just hanging around there, reminding everyone that we are the good guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's go with 8. So there we go. That's going to be quite a large torpedo, which will be absolutely lovely. Although I don't really want to dedicate that much more space to this. At the end of the day, this craft is going to be hard countered by quite a few things. Anything which can get behind it is going to kill it, and anything really quick, well, that used to be the problem, but of course now we do have the laser system. But either way, I feel like this is one of those craft which is either going to do absolutely magnificently, or it's just going to die really quickly. Just one of the two, probably no in between. I would just like at least a little bit of a chance against things, let's put this somewhere else, against things which are of course like subs and such, which otherwise we simply wouldn't be able to fire at, as we've seen in one of the previous videos. And then staggered fire, thank you very much. Let's put that on max. In fact, let's have 2 of those, both on max, so they only fire 1 per second. And now, probably don't need more than three torpedo propellers. I think the rule of thumb, if I'm not mistaken, is 3 torpedo propellers to 1 fuel tank. Or it could be 4 propellers to 1 fuel tank. It's something like that. I will give it a quick test, so I know. It's pretty simple to find out. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Okay, let's just test to make sure it actually works. Marauder! And down they go, hopefully with their 1 turn. Yep, they are turning just before hitting the water, and are they actually going towards the target? Let's just make sure. Yes, indeed they are. No, don't laser it, I wanted the... Okay, should have turned the AI off first. There we go. They work anyway. They do indeed explode. That was, pretty quick. I think these missiles will be a little bit too big to actually be effective. But they would be fun to fire. Okay, I've decided to go with the missiles. They are mostly oversized EMP missiles. They do also all contain a flare and a radar, which means they should distract incoming missiles, at least a little bit. So they're a multi-purpose, honestly wasteful weapon. Thankfully, though, I had the exact amount of space for it, so I figured we may as well. I think, before we go back into the campaign with our lovely World Eater, we are going to fight it against one of the most feared opponents people seem to have, at least from the vehicles which most people have seen, and of course, that is the Bulwark, an extremely large and extremely expensive Onyx watchcraft, which of course has been donated to us as a gift from our Onyx Watch friends, since they want to remain peaceful with us at all costs, because we're just such lovely friends. So here we go, let's spawn in the Bulwark. Pause time, thank you very much. So, I'm hoping it's broadsiding us. This is about the range you would spawn in at, so I think that's pretty darn fair. The laser is going to be very, very good in this fight, I feel. Yep, just melting through armor, even underwater. Incoming the volley from the advanced cannon, or at least it should be. There it is. I think it might not have been loaded properly. Well, that's my mistake indeed. There it goes. Just took a sec to load in since I had to respawn that craft. Lovely, now let's see how my laser defense system is doing. Absolutely wonderfully, here comes the volley. And all of them were stopped before reaching the World Eater. The laser's doing so much work here, which is absolutely lovely to see, considering that's my contribution to the craft. Once again, munition defense doing absolutely wonderfully. I'm hoping the missiles did something, I wasn't really paying attention. And of course we are backing away from this fight constantly. As you can see, the World Eater is trying to stay as far away as possible. As far away as possible. For some reason I said that kind of weirdly. Once again, munition defense, which I kind of love watching. Oh, one of them... Oh no, it didn't get through, it just didn't show the explosion, probably to prevent too much lag. The laser is still happily going on, although we are actually out of engine power, so with the munition defense and the laser both on at the same time, it can't actually keep up. And the Bulwark is looking very, very bad right now. The laser just constantly cutting things away from the inside. It's like a surgical weapon. They took away our corn logo! Do you know how long it took me to build that? God damn it, Bulwark. Well, now you're dead. That's what you get. My corn logo. You've split into 2. Ah, the blood god is pleased. A little bit of damage got through, but not all that much. Really, really happy with that. Although apparently the center of mass is now a little bit thrown off because, well, a giant lump of metal got cut off. Okay, let's repair up, and then we'll try again. We do need to actually add repair bots to this thing. Okay, so to be fair, against the Bulwark, this thing is just very effective. The laser had no defenses against it, and of course, with the munition defense, it's incredibly good versus things which use cram cannons or very slow cannons. It will also be very good against things which use missiles, as long as it's not absolute spam missiles. It does have quite a lot of laser defense on the inside. I've made sure, even though I've rebuilt this, to also add some more smoke dispensers, as I believe there are smoke dispensers on this side of the craft as well. So I think it's going to be decent in most situations, but vulnerable to being hard countered. But I am really happy with it. So here it is versus the Trebuchet. Honestly, I'm only testing out the point defense more than anything else. It's doing surprisingly well, considering how fast these advanced cannons are actually heading towards us, but nowhere near enough to rely on them solely. A couple of them being taken out in pretty much every volley. See? 2. That's it. Now, thankfully, those ones just missed. Yeah, would need significantly more if we were to try and counter advanced cannons that way. But thankfully, that's why we have shields. Final stats then, for what is soon to be called the World Eater. So the total volume is 17,780.8, I have no idea, and then the material cost is 248,000. So that's actually not too bad. It's smaller than the Bloodthirster, although slightly more expensive. But the thing is, this will cost a lot more to keep this running. Similar to the Word Bearer, it is slightly cheaper than the Bloodthirster, but it costs an absolute fortune every second it's in a battle, so probably not going to be my main vehicle of choice, but certainly going to be a very, very fun one. I've had a lot of fun retrofitting this. There it is, the Kobold has been converted in the campaign into the World Eater. Now, the reason why I've gone with this name, as edgy as it is because I want to really stay on theme with the whole Khorne thing, and thankfully the World Eaters are a chapter of Chaos Space Marines dedicated to the Blood God, similar to the Word Bearers. You can kinda see where the names are coming from, can't you? And over there is the Bloodthirster, the greater demon of Khorne. And the enemy is the Thunderclap and the Mosquito, which is a shame. I am still really looking forward to fighting against the Extinction, so I will make sure to fight the higher level tiles around here afterwards, just to ensure we get to see the best of the Grey Talons. And now we're not using nukes, hopefully it'll be a little bit more fair against some of them, such as the Kobold, the father of the World Eater. Or mother, we will never know. Okay, let's just wait. I think we're on fleet move. Yes, we are. I knew I derped up. And okay, begin your fight. So, with these lasers, there is a real focus on the wavefront adjusters. I think over a quarter of the damage, or exactly a quarter, one of the two, actually goes through smoke and through laser deflecting shields or laser absorbing shields. So things like this lovely Thunderclap here, who I believe does have some smoke dispensers, well, a lot of damage is still going to get through, as you can see. There's one of the EMP missiles, hopefully going to do something there. It did go straight into the inside, but by the looks of things there were some surge protectors. Where's the main volley? That's what I'm confused about. There should have been a volley of shells. I saw the weapon going off, but I didn't see the shells. I don't know what you were aiming at then. Wow, munition defenders doing perfectly there. Okay, there we go, firing again. This time, actually at the target. Okay, maybe he was going after the smaller enemy the first time. Look at that. The Kobold's main gun then shredding the front. The laser just slowly picking away at the enemy, since of course it does have smoke. A quarter of the damage is still good considering smoke, but it's not good enough. It's certainly not good enough to absolutely shred the enemy. The enemy is, however, 2 damaged, and we have a victory. The laser is more for guaranteeing the initial hit, so it does have a very real chance of knocking out an AI or knocking out a weapon before the true fight even starts. The main gun of the Kobold, that's what does all the real damage. And then, of course, it has the missiles and all the other lovely protection stuff which I've added, which does seem to be doing the job pretty well. Once again, incoming missiles, and as you can see, they are being detonated one at a time before they get even close to the World Eater. And then the fragments simply being deflected by the shield. Well done, World Eater. Well done. Although I am still a little bit confused about your weapon. Maybe it wasn't reloaded correctly. What on earth is up with your barrel? Oh, that's just a visual glitch. It is actually where I'm looking right now. It's just showing it all the way in here. Barrels are so vulnerable to visual glitches, and that one as well. Oh, seems like the one on the bottom wasn't even loaded. Or at least, didn't have much ammo in. Okay, I'll make sure that's loaded properly before the next fight. I think I'll go ahead and try to lure the Strength 85 out. I'm currently sending the Dragon Claw over, so what we can do is use the World Eater's laser to try and bore into the AI of the enemy base, and of course at the same time we will be on the Dragon's Claw trying to capture it. I do want as many end bases as possible because they look amazing, and I'm still sad we lost the Lightning Hood one because that one looked awesome. The Raven's Nest. Not as big or as expensive as I was expecting, okay. Lots of energy though, so not sure what's going to go on there. Either way, you grab that and then come back. The Hobgoblin and the SRF. I'm sure someone's mentioned the Hobgoblin before, but honestly I have pretty much no idea what this actually is. Okay, let's make sure everything's going as it should. It indeed is, and the laser is already firing. Let's have a look-see at the Hobgoblin, and with that sort of name, if it's not hideous, I will be greatly disappointed. Oh, I see, look, there's this lovely little face. That's a lot of cram cannons. Oh, I love how they've done these little walkways. It's really hard to see, by the way, so YouTube's compression has probably made this even darker, thank you YouTube. So if you can't see much, I do apologise, it's just really dark at the moment. This whole zone, even when it's midday, is really, really dark. Laser there accidentally siphoning off that one's gun. There we go, the main gun from the Kobold, from the World Eater. Just took off one of the enemy's guns. The laser is... Did you just saw off its arm? Okay, laser. Kinda cruel. Kinda love it. Incoming cram cannon shells, which should be dealt with by our munition defense system. As you can see, there go the lasers. One being detonated, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, cram cannons are just not going to hurt the World Eater. Unless there's absolutely loads of them. Okay, it is using smoke, so the laser's damage has been crippled a little bit. Stop making those tiny little movements. You're making my speech go away, but also you're making the laser really confused. Do you have to have smoke everywhere? I just want to kill you. What's so wrong with that? There we go. Main gun online again. Slowly backing away. It will just keep on backing away for a very long time, by the way, and thankfully the laser is very good at long range, so... The combination of Lathrixian Legion and Grey Talon, an unholy abomination of a fusion. Delicious. Ow! I said something detonate. I had several things detonate. What happened then? We lost like 400, 500 blocks. What exploded? I can't see the damage. What went boom? Well, you knocked off some of the wood, but that's to be expected. I mean, honestly, this thing down here and all of that is kind of meant to just break off for fun, but... Kind of like a lizard losing its tail to hide from a predator. You've broken 3 layers of heavy armor there, so well done to that. Okay, though, overall, we are very, very, very healthy still. Okay, heal up, and let's go against that Strength 108 first.
Moving out, moving out.
I want to do some more killing. We do also now have repair bots, although not many. As you can see, this is in times 10, and look how slow we're healing. It's really just for outside of combat stuff. I didn't really have the space for many extra repair bots. This thing is ridiculously compact, especially on the side I was working on. After searching for so long, the Extinction finally shows itself. Now, according to a lot of people, this is one of the scariest craft, along with the Warlord, which the lovely Grey Talons actually have. So this costs a grand total of 681,000 materials, almost 3 times the poor little World Eater, and it is 22,000 volume. With it is this little fellow, which I'm going to assume is going to spawn in first. So, because I am actually terrified of the Extinction, we're going to spawn off to the side of it a little. Let's see what spawns in first. I will be amazed if the Extinction spawns in before the other fellow. Lots of lag there. Okay, I'm actually amazed. The Extinction has spawned in, along with the little fellow. Although the little one seems to have spawned in the water. I'm hoping it can actually get out of the water. It seems like most of the stuff is above the waterline. Either way, let's have a look at the Extinction. And its nukes. No way. You spawn in nukes. Well, I feel less cheesy now. I did not know that. Thankfully, we have a laser. Okay, so the Extinction is freaking huge. That's a very weird way to do the back section. In a very cool way. I'm assuming this is so it pivots quite quickly. In fact, yeah, it's already turning quite a lot. There's a lot of cram cannons, a few advanced cannons, and although it's really dark, there is a particle cannon there. So the problem is, the metal itself has been painted quite dark grey, and then of course this area is grey anyway, so it's a little bit hard to see what's going on. Okay, both of the nukes have been killed. It keeps on spawning in nukes though, which is very, very annoying. The main volley is doing minimal damage. That's a lot of shielding the enemy has. And we are in fleet move because I'm a derp. Okay, no harm done there, thankfully. Okay, the little guy at the bottom is now AI dead. Seems like we focused on that a little bit. We are, however, going for the nukes more than the main body. This is good, although, although it does mean there is a very real chance we're not going to do enough damage to the main structure. Our anti-munition lasers are doing very, very well, though. Only one of those cram cannons actually got through. Let's jump back on. There we go. What on earth is going on with our laser? Oh, don't say it's hurt our detection systems. No, it is getting the nuke okay. What was it? What was going on then? Maybe it was trying to aim at one of the spawning in nukes, and because it was so tiny, it couldn't focus? Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with that laser. It is struggling, actually, so maybe some detection systems have been damaged by that cram shot. The laser is now hitting the Extinction's main body. It seems to have smoke, however, so I'm very glad we do have the wave front adjusters. Come on, fire another volley. Thank you. There we go. The volley is going. Lovely, lovely stuff there. A lot of damage done to the corner, although not as much as I first thought. It seems like the Extinction does have anti-munition lasers of its own, although one EMP shot, it looks like the Extinction is having trouble staying on its axis. Which I'm fine with. Yeah, there's something really wrong with this laser. I don't know why the laser's having such trouble. It must be detection systems, but at the same time, the main gun had no problem. And now it's aiming again. I really do think it is going for those tiny little nukes as they spawn in. So next time, what I should do is make it so it focuses on things which are closer, rather than just as small as possible, because clearly, it can't lock on. That's what I'm assuming here. I wish those nukes were just a little bit closer to the Extinction so that they hurt themselves. We're just backing off slowly and constantly, which is weird. Yeah, those cram cannons are doing nothing. Thankfully. I feel like we're going to win this just out of duration. Like I say, we do have a grand total of 6 repair bots on this craft, plus myself. And I'm tempted to turn off repair to see what would happen. I think a one-on-one with no healing would be very close. But I think we're just about going to edge the victory here. Lasers, just... okay. How if I do that? Yeah, now it's focusing just fine. So clearly it is. It's trying to focus on those nukes when they're way too small. Speaking of... no. Pause. Okay, let's stop that. We do need to focus on these lovely little fellows. Okay, there we go, back to where we were, although I am now allowing the laser to go after the Extinction again. If we had the AI set up differently, that would have been a much better fight. Yet the laser is doing its work. Is that 2 damage to the Extinction itself? I think it is. I think it actually is. We win! We actually win! World Eater, you beautiful hybrid! I suppose I didn't actually see the advanced cannons even fire. I think they got took out so early on. The cram cannons couldn't do anything. That laser is amazing. Thank you. It doesn't do as much damage as the Great, well, the nukes hit us. It doesn't do quite as much damage as the Bloodthirster's laser, but it's stronger because of that 25% damage which goes through smoke and such. As you can see, the repair speed isn't exactly... well, it's practically non-existent. So, I wouldn't say that was the main tipping point there. The laser countered the nukes, the munition systems were just brilliant against those cram shells. Where are we right now? Okay, that's glitchy. Yeah, yeah, you're there. You're definitely right there. You're somewhere in that area. Okay then, that's good. And not worrying at all. So all that's left then is the Grey Talon Fortress. Okay, that took so freaking long to repair. World Eater, come back out please. I want to see you again. I love you. You are so freaking effective. And definitely worthy of carrying that metal sigil with you. So, here's something I want to look at very, very quickly. Hello, local weapon controller. You, and I also want to have a quick look-see at... where are you? Target prioritization. Okay, so... right now, the lasers were basically set to this. So, all they cared about was size. That's why they keep on going after the smaller targets. I feel like it needs to be a little bit more balanced, otherwise it will keep on doing that if an enemy is spawning things in, and then during those first few blocks, it just can't focus on them, so that's just not all that great. Is there a minimum of size? Aha! This is what I was looking for. Local weapon controller. Minimum number of blocks to engage. We could just say something like 50. So you don't focus on a single block which you're never going to hit, especially at those ridiculously long ranges which the World Eater wants to get to because of the Kobold's original setup. Which I will be copying in the future. It's a really simple setup, but it works really well. Again, Kobold creator, you are awesome. Seriously, pats on the back. Okay then, well, your first outing, World Eater, and you seem to be more reliable than the Bloodthirster. Didn't expect that. I'm afraid, though, even though we are right next to the Grey Talon's fortress, I am all out of time for today's video. In the next video, the very first thing we're going to be doing is sending one of our lovely Dragon's Claws, and of course, our lovely World Eater, against the enemy base, only using the laser, and then using the Dragon's Claw to climb on board and hopefully capture it for the Legion. So, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favorites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you for watching, and remember, we are the good guys.